Welcome to Psychic Holistic Spotlight. I'm Bill Hannon, your host tonight with co-host Josie Way and Kathy Costa. Tonight we have a guest that we've had in the past, and we'd like to touch bases with her again to see what's going on with the herbal community in Rhode Island. So we have Leslie Wooler here, and she's going to engage us in a conversation about health with herbs. So, hello. How you doing, Leslie?
I'm doing great, Bill. How are you?
Great.
It's good to see you.
Yes.
It's good to be here.
Yeah. It's always very interesting. There's so many different directions we can go with this. We have a small community of herbalists who work, and we have meetings frequently, or at least in the past we have.
Well, we used to meet. We started meeting probably 20 years ago, I would say. And it was OSHA, not to be confused with Occupational Safety and Hazard, but the Ocean State Herbal Association.
Right.
So we would meet monthly when I had the shop in Wickford, and then after I closed the shop, we would meet at people's homes. And then the last times we were meeting was at the North Kingston Library.
Right.
And so we'd pick different herbal topics to talk about. So.
And that was always very interesting because different people had different sources they would go to.
Yeah, everybody would bring information to share, and sometimes people would have handouts to give to everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
And it would be either about a topic or a specific herb. So, yeah, that's always very interesting. You know, I've been doing a lot of reading lately concerning issues like cancer and diabetes, and it seems they both seem to have a genesis in inflammation within the human body. In fact, we have a magnolia tree, and I was really interested to come across several references in my research about magnolia and how it's supposed to help with inflammation. But
that's more commonly used in Chinese herbal medicine than in Western herbal medicine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's good. And so I was just curious, if you were to help somebody with an inflammation issue, which can present itself in many different ways.
That's probably the main causes of most diseases is inflammation. And a lot of it starts in the gut. But,
the guts.
So really you have to look at diet first. That's probably the main thing.
Right.
Lifestyle, diet. So.
Does the ancestry of the person play a factor in like some of the diseases that produce?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Genetics and ancestry will
That's
definitely
interesting question.
innate.
It's affected me a couple of times, so that's why.
And something like diabetes, that's very specific. It can be a genetic thing.
Okay. Yeah.
And not just diet related.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Whereas cancer, a lot of it has to do with lifestyle, where you live, the types of pollution you're exposed to, things like that.
So there's a lot of things that play that would happen.
Yeah.
Now, for specific herbs, though, do you find them better if they come from a different part of the world, than say like from North America? Or
It depends on the herb. Like something like kava, which is native to Vanuatu and Fiji. You're not going to find it growing in the United States. So you want something that's like more native to that. And maca, which is from South America. It looks like a cross between a beet and a turnip.
Right.
And so it's a root that they use. And they use it actually as food down there too. We just get the powdered form here.
Okay.
And or in a tincture.
But again, it's a great adaptogen, and it's great for both men and women.
Men and women, and it does provide like instant energy when you take it.
Right.
You know, it's one of the few herbs that you can feel a difference right away.
So is there certain herbs that work better for men versus women, or vice versa?
No.
No. So it's still the same. Not depend on the.
It's
gender.
a food.
It depends on the herb, and it depends on the person and what they have going on with them.
Oh, okay.
But
I mean, you know, it grows pretty wild up in the mountains, Andes, and Peru, and places, Bolivia. And you know, they harvest it for year-round use. But it's a great adaptogen, like ginseng has a reputation of being a good adaptogen.
Ashwagandha, which is an Ayurvedic herb from India. Adaptogens mean it helps your body to adapt dealing with stress. So,
And so this is really interesting with being in the Andes so high that it actually helps with things like altitude sickness or altitude adjustment.
Yeah, because it's already
Yeah.
up high anyway, yeah,
yeah,
Right.
by nature.
yeah.
So what got you interested in learning about herbs?
I got my first herb book over 50 years ago. I was 19 and I went to this little shop down in Richmond, Rhode Island, or Wyoming. It was called the Meadowbrook Herb Garden.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? And it was run by this man, Heinz Grotzky. And he was really into the Rudolf Steiner method of biodynamic gardening. But it was the first time I'd ever interacted with herbal medicine or plants. And I still have that book, a little paperback.
Yeah.
But then I started buying herbal plants and herbal teas and really got into it. But I didn't know anybody back then at the time who was teaching it. And it wasn't till I met Susan Clements, who was the first owner of the Herb Wife, and I later bought the shop from her in 2003. But I took my first herbal apprenticeship program with her in the early 90s, and then later I took one with Michael Ford, and then I took two with Chris Morano. And then I was also on, I did aromatherapy training. I did, went to school for that, took the national exam to become a registered aromatherapist, and I'm also a regional director for NAHA, which is the National Association of Holistic Aromatherapy. But then I was also, going on and on, on the NEHA board, which is the Northeast Herbal Association, for 10 years, and 4 years as the president. So I've been heavily involved in herbs and herbal medicine for a long time, and teach a lot of classes on that and essential oils.
Now, do people come to you a lot though when traditional Western medicine doesn't work anymore for them?
Sometimes,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. I find that seems to be a theme though lately for a lot of people though. It's like traditional medicine isn't really working and there's too many side effects.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I've heard that though. So.
But there's a lot of times you have to go with the pharmaceuticals and the traditional, allopathic medicine,
Right. I've told people,
I would never tell anybody, stop taking your medicine, the doctor doesn't know
yeah,
what's
you
trouble.
can get a lot of trouble
I
that
would
way.
never do that.
Yeah.
But the doctor that I go to, and I was fortunate enough to get into his practice, he very much is into herbs. When I had the shop in Wickford and I closed that in 2013, he used to send people there, and I never knew who he was. And then one day, and this is probably about 5 years ago, I'm in Belmont Market, that's where the Herb Wife is now, and this man came in with his young daughter, and he's talking about herbs. And then I find out he's the doctor. I'm like, oh my God, I've been wanting to meet you for years.
Yeah.
So, and then he ended up being my doctor, so I was very fortunate for that.
Talk about full circle,
But
right?
he sends people in to buy herbal medicine. He recommends it. They come in with their little sheet. And I'm like,
Right.
did you come from Dr. Kasheva? Did Dr. K send you?
You know the papers by now.
Yeah. And so,
now, who's that doctor again? Just
Dr. Kasheva.
okay.
But
So,
he's at Coastal Medical. Unfortunately, he doesn't take any new patients because
Okay.
I've had a lot of people ask. But it's interesting. Like the last time I was in there, we were talking about cannabis for cancer, and medicinal mushrooms, and also psychedelic mushrooms that people use for microdosing for anxiety and stress and PTSD, things like that.
Depression.
Yeah, depression.
I've actually known studies. I actually know people that have been in studies, and they go and they get microdosed. It's not even enough they get something perceivable about like a trip or anything like that. It's just that they were given something in a very small dose.
So what's the difference between microdose and a regular dose?
It's usually 1/10
Okay.
the
Now,
strength.
why would that be beneficial?
Because when you're doing something that small, it changes your perception just a tiny bit, and it just makes you feel better.
Okay.
But it's not like getting high or going on a trip. It's not like that. So it makes a difference.
And they've taken waves, they've taken pictures of the brain with doing the microdosing, and the electric activity that happens in the brain. It seems like it helps with the firing of the neurons and the axons. It improves communication in the brains on the nervous end of it. All the nerves are firing more effectively. And
Yeah.
so people are less likely to get into dumps because they feel better.
So it helps them like kind of like an even keel of the moods.
It raises the serotonin levels.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
which just means it keeps the serotonin at the ends in the gap so that they don't leave. You don't get, it's sort of like instead of just having a tiny burst, you have a longer lasting exposure
Okay.
Yeah.
at their nerve endings.
Okay. Huh, interesting.
yeah,
I don't know if I explained that very well.
Yeah, I
You
think you
did.
did, yeah.
Okay.
did.
I always find it so interesting how science kind of catches up to like all the stuff that we already kind of know from doing this work. You know, I find that, it's kind of like the backwards way of like just kind of confirming what we've known for so long. And it
Yeah.
just very little side effects with this stuff though too. So I know sometimes though, like you have to be careful with what herbs you take though, with the medications that you take.
Absolutely.
yeah.
There's always contraindications.
Yeah.
Like something like St. John's wort, you're not going to take that if you're on birth control pills or take it and go out in the sun. If you're taking it internally, like the capsules or the tincture, you can use it topically and it helps prevent sunburns a little to some small degree. But taking it internally, and that's a mild antidepressant, not for somebody who's severely depressed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it can
And you
cause
can't-
photosensitive reactions in the sun.
Yeah.
You can't take it along with taking an antidepressant.
That's true.
They don't recommend that you try to boost it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so now that you have to watch for that though too though, so you don't get more sick after though.
What do you think about, there's a couple of physician turned salesmen that sell supplements where they hear of one good ingredient and they cook up 2 or 3 others with the thing.
I know what you're talking about
And-
because we do sell some products like that in the store. And there was, I'm not going to name any names, but there was one doctor. And so I was impressed until I heard him start talking about essential oils. And I was like, oh my God, he doesn't know what he's talking about. So I'm not going to take any more of his stuff. But, some products are good.
Some of them work, and some of them just,
I think they're just out for a buck.
Well, yeah, there's studies that to back up information on certain herbs for the constituents that make them up, and synergistically, a lot of herbs just work together beautifully.
if it's a supplement, you don't have to go through the Food and Drug Administration.
That's true.
So there isn't as much testing of
Right.
these
Well,
products.
there
I think
also
it
is
also depends on the company, because certain companies will do testing on their herbs, like
Yeah.
Himalaya. It's spelled like Himalaya, but it's called Himalaya. And they have been doing testing for over 50 years on their products. And you can actually look up and find the research that they've done. So,
it helps with the standardization of these supplements, herbs. Yeah, so it
Well,
helps with that.
standardization is very important, so you always get the same strength all the time. That's important. But what she's also bringing up is that it's great that some companies have taken it upon themselves for efficacy purposes to show that, yeah, there's studies, there's reason, there's science behind why this is happening.
Yeah.
Everybody's different. Everybody has a different frequency. Your body's going to resonate that's just not going to have the same. Something's not going to have the same effect with you as. But you look. People like different vegetables. People like different
That's
foods.
right. That's right.
Some
Same
people
idea,
can't
yeah.
stand type
Yeah.
of taste of some vegetables. Well, the thing is, herbs are a plant.
Yeah,
So
it's like cilantro.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
it has that taste.
Right.
Yeah,
For-
some
for
people
some
either
people-
love it or they hate it, and
Well,
if they hate it, they think it tastes like soap.
Soap.
Yeah.
Because there's a
I,
sap.
I love it.
It's a
and
sapinoid.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right, and it's a heavy metal cleanser too. It can remove heavy
Chelation
metals.
purposes, yeah.
Yep, yeah.
Oh, that's good to
I've,
know.
I've got a tincture that I got from you that's ground ivy and cilantro for heavy metal cleansing.
Yeah.
Bill makes really good tinctures
Oh,
and good mushroom
Mushrooms,
tinctures.
yeah, mushrooms, I have
so what the tincture has of ground ivy and what?
Cilantro.
cilantro.
But the ground ivy, that's not poison ivy, right? That's like
No, no,
different
no.
kind.
Ground
Okay.
ivy is like
No,
that
there's many
little,
ivies.
little weed that grows wild in everybody's garden. It's got
Okay.
like a round leaf with little scalloped edges all around.
Oh, okay.
And
I'm
it
sure- I
spreads
think
by
I've
these
seen
little runners. It's really hard to get
And
rid of once you
when you
have it.
pull here,
It-
it pulls from there and there.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
my
all over.
goodness.
Right.
But that is
Okay.
really good medicine. Most of the weeds that you find, like plantain, dandelion, people want to kill them and get rid of them, but they're all good medicine.
Yeah, I've
A
heard
lot
that.
of
that's-
Quarter.
The lamb's quarters are
Yeah.
very nutritious.
Yep.
A lot of people say that if it's growing, it's a cure for something else.
Yeah, it's like Japanese knotweed, which has become so invasive around here. I mean, it just has popped up in the last 10 years everywhere, and it's an excellent remedy for Lyme disease.
Huh, interesting.
It's also used for
It's high in,
recipes for cancer.
yeah, it's very high in resveratrol, higher
Yeah.
than grapes.
Now, I was told that
Good.
whatever plants taste terrible, though, is actually better for you. Like, it's like better medicine. Is there truth in
No,
that?
not really.
Not necessarily, so it just depends.
Yeah, I think it depends.
Chamomile is good, and it tastes all right.
That's true, too. That's a
You
good
Well,
know,
there's
point.
two types of chamomile. There's the German and the Roman. The
Right.
Roman is the little ground cover that grows, and it only gets about that tall, and that's a perennial. Whereas the German gets about 18 inches tall, like as tall as this table, maybe even taller. I've seen it this tall, and that's an annual, although it will self-seed. So.
Yeah.
Right. So you brought up an interesting point. We're dealing with some of the topics we've just been talking about. You also do gardening. Are you more or less phasing out of that right now? or-
Yeah, I kind of am. I've been doing that for a very, very long time.
Right.
I worked at a tree nursery for 25 years, got my degree in horticulture, and then did landscaping for, private homes for over 20 years. So now I just kept 2 clients,
Right.
and my daughter took over the rest of the business. She kept saying that last year when she was working for me. I'm taking over for you next year. I'm like, yeah, we'll see about that. But
And that's
I
what
was
ended
like-
up happening, yeah.
and I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I've been doing it a long time. Time to step back. But I do a lot of other things. I'm a teacher for Rosemary Gladstar's Art and Science of Herbalism course. So they send you lessons, email you lessons every week, every Thursday. I got 7 this week. I already did them all because I have a big conference coming up this week. And so I wanted to make sure I got them all done. So, but I really enjoy that. I've been doing that about 2.5 years, maybe a little longer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's obviously been doing this
And
a while.
Rosemary Gladstar's still practicing.
Yeah, she'll be teaching at the International Herb Symposium, which it comes up in a couple of days at Wheaton College. So, and she'll be there. She's like the godmother of herbalism in this country.
Right. That's right. In fact,
People follow her around like she's like a
A
rock
gypsy,
star.
yeah.
She's the icon, and they're all like, Rosemary, Rosemary, and they follow her all over. But she's an amazing, amazing woman.
very intuitive.
Yeah, brilliant herbalist. And
The
an
plants
excellent-
talk to her, probably.
Oh, I think so. And she's been doing it a really long time. So,
Oh, so if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, I mean, how would they?
they could either find me at Belmont Market,
Yeah.
or I'm only there Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I set my hours since I'm supposed to be retired, but not really.
Yeah.
And then they could call me on the phone, or they could email me, and my email's theherbwife, spelled with a Y, ri@gmail.com.
The herb wife, WYFE,
Yeah,
RI.
at gmail. The
all right.
herbwife, ri@gmail.com.
And what's the phone number?
401 965-6251.
Okay.
So, but yeah.
So we know it's going to be a few months before this airs, but
I know.
we're very popular.
The conference will be long
Popular
over.
program.
Everyone will have harvested.
Yeah, I
Their
do a lot of
crops.
foraging. I used to teach apprenticeship programs. The last time I taught was just before COVID, and so I haven't taught since then. But I've taught classes, but not the 7-month apprenticeship program. You know, so
You thinking of starting back up? Or not?
maybe we'll see. It's a
Because
lot
it's
of
something
work.
I've always wanted to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. You do a lot of hands-on stuff. You make a lot of products. You make tinctures, salves, oils, face creams. You go out foraging and collecting plant material to make stuff with. You know, you learn about plants from the ground up.
How to dry them and
Yep, everything.
Yeah, that's
It covers
different
different
than-
systems of the body each month, like the nervous system,
Yeah, that's a good way to
respiratory,
remember.
immune system. So I would cover the different herbs and the essential oils for each system, and
Yeah.
also flower essences, because I studied that as well.
Yeah.
So,
I looked into herbs for a little while and I said, this is too much for me with everything else that I'm doing. And, I forgot what I was going to say. I'm sorry.
it's okay.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn with this though, but it's very invaluable though too.
it's very interesting. Different people, different teachers have different approaches. I found one
Yeah.
of the best ones to actually be Susan Weed's approach.
Yeah, she's very controversial.
She is.
She will actually be at the conference this week. She's not teaching, but she'll be there. But I'll
She-
be happy to see her. She stayed
This-
at my house. Remember when she stayed
Yes,
at my
that's
house?
right, that's
Yeah.
right.
I had a
Yeah,
lot
this
of
woman,
herbalists
this
stay at
woman
the
has
house.
a backbone.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was my question though. What
But
made
the
it so
thing is,
interesting?
but the thing is that, you know, one of her techniques is you study a plant.
One plant at a time and get to
Till you
know
know
that plant.
for everything that it's good for, you know, and you start to actually pick up the best times to harvest it, or should you incorporate the root system in this preparation along with the leaves, areoles and whatnot. And so once you get a handle on that, after you start getting a bunch of plants in your repertoire, things just start falling into place as to how they work together,
Yeah.
or they may not. You know, sometimes you add a root, not because the root is that great for what you're doing, but it works with the other ones and that root tastes good. So that's going to help the taste of the preparation, and, you know, it makes it more palatable.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
Like beet.
oh yeah, Leslie, how do you like your beets?
Not at all. I hate them.
That's why she likes maca.
I'd rather eat a bug than eat a beet. I just
Yes.
detest them.
My wife is the same way.
It's
My
tongue
kids
taste,
never
though.
had them until
Don't
they were
even-
adults, and they're like, "How could you not like these? They're delicious."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh."
I didn't have him as a kid though, so that might be why. It's a strong taste though. Yeah.
It's like dirt or something even nastier.
Yeah, but it's a great blood purifier. And
Yeah, and
boosts
it boosts the iron level in your
right,
body.
right.
Yeah.
So that's good then. Okay, so inflammation again. Is there a couple things that you would suggest to people that help with inflammation?
Well, turmeric's probably the most popular one that everybody takes. But a lot of people have to be careful because it might upset their stomachs.
Right. So they
So-
should always eat it with food or
Yeah,
an oily
and
food.
you never take it just the plain powder by itself, or even a hard capsule.
Right.
You want to make sure it's in a gel cap with oil,
Oil.
you know,
That's right.
because it's fat soluble. You need that to help
Okay.
digest it.
Digest it and deliver it to the cells. Yeah.
Yeah. So the delivery of the herbs does make a difference though.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's useless if you're just putting it in, it's going to just come out or disturb your system.
Yeah. If you don't intake it the right way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of us forget. It's like we learn this one thing, it's great for this thing, but we may be forgetting what's the best way to take it though, to get the best, you know, in our
And
system.
turmeric also works better and is more absorbed with pepper.
Yeah, the piperine in the
Black
black
pepper.
pepper activates the curcumin in the turmeric.
Yeah.
So it helps to know your chemical constituents.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
They-
And it's
they-
also,
It's a happy marriage. They
Yes.
work together.
Yeah,
right, well, the pepperine, the black ground pepper is also used with other preparations, not so much as an activator, but it's a vasodilator. So it allows your arteries and your capillaries to expand, so now more of the medicine gets deeper into the tissue,
Yeah,
and it's a better way to.
yeah, it's like ginkgo was a vasodilator.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's one reason why it's so good for the brain.
Like lion's mane mushroom.
Yes, and cordyceps and lion's
Lion's
mane
mane.
go
Oh,
together
lion's
very
mane.
well. Yeah,
It's pretty tasty too.
it's delicious. It's
yeah.
considered a gourmet, a delectable,
Yeah.
a culinary mushroom.
Yeah.
Some of them, you don't like the taste of them at all, believe me.
The last time I was, not the last time, but one time at the International Herb Symposium, somebody had on a T-shirt and it said, "All mushrooms are edible, some only once."
I like that.
I was like, oh,
That's
that
good.
makes sense.
That's right, that's
That's
right.
true.
That's right.
I do appreciate that, though, boy. So, I don't know if this is off topic, I'm sorry, but I know it's good to know which mushrooms are good, are safe to eat, and what is not good, not good. So I know that's very important, but the ones that you can get the high off of, though, those are not the medicinal ones, though, right?
No.
That's a very different kind.
Very
It's-
different.
Okay,
Very different.
It's medicinal in its own right.
Yeah.
okay.
There are applications.
Okay.
And-
Yeah.
and-
Those
and
are the microdose.
Those are the
Yeah.
ones you,
Okay.
and you can
Yeah.
also take them what they call the hero dose, which is the full strength.
Like Paul Stamets talked about the time he
Oh
did
my
it.
God,
I'll
yeah,
never forget that story.
Yeah.
He's probably the best speaker I've ever seen at the
For-
Herb Symposium.
right.
He was telling about how he had some mushrooms and he was in college and he was a stutterer as a kid and his father used to like, stop that stuttering, and he just couldn't. So he took these mushrooms and he went up in his favorite tree. So he wasn't feeling anything, so he took some more. He ended up taking the whole
Bag of mushrooms.
of mushrooms.
Like
And now a storm came in with thunder and lightning and he's like, with the tree.
He was scared. He didn't even want to get out of the tree because he was just on such a
He was so,
psychedelic high.
yeah, really. So he ended up the next day, never stuttered again.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So that
It's a
was
hell of a
pretty-
way to do it, but it helped him
Really,
out.
yeah.
And his
Yeah.
confidence. Now he's a worldwide speaker.
He's brilliant. He's got 2 PhDs in mycology. Brilliant, brilliant man.
And he's also had F attacks on him. People trying to,
Yeah.
because of the amount of money that he's taken out of pharma.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
he's
they
helped
don't
so
like
many
that.
people, right?
Yeah, I sell his products in the store.
Yeah.
Right.
He's got excellent.
At
excellent
Belmont
products.
Market, and you're there Monday. What time? Monday, Wednesday,
Monday,
Friday?
Wednesday, Friday, 10 to 2.
10 to 2. Right.
So if you don't see me, I'm usually in the back room stuffing herbs in bags or
Yeah.
making tea or
Right.
placing orders. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Very busy since
The
I'm there
paperwork.
such a limited amount of time.
Right.
Yeah, but I
But-
think if you still have full days, I think you'll still be busy. Because you've been doing this so long that people come to you.
They
You just
do.
don't-
People come
yeah.
looking and I get called out into the store to help people all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have help in the store? Is someone going to eventually take that over? No? Okay.
Nope. That'll be interesting. So, no, I say nobody else there knows
Well,
anything
you-
about herbs.
Right.
as
Right. I
compared
mean,
to
you
me.
had Kat
Yeah.
that was there for a while, and
Ariel,
Ariel, your
Ariel,
daughter.
she
she's
did a
probably-
phenomenal job when
She's
she was
probably the
working
only
there.
person that could really step into that. And,
Yeah.
Or even Kim Falcone or somebody like that. But
Yeah,
they're
she
not-
worked there for a short time,
Yep.
but
Well,
Yeah.
Leslie, thank you very much for
thank you for
stepping
having
into
me,
our
Bill.
living room today
Yeah.
and enjoying a nice roundhouse discussion here
It
about.
was fun.
Yes.
Yeah,
I thoroughly
I enjoyed
enjoyed
it.
it.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Thank you
We-
so much.